So before we get into this video, let me make something very clear. I like Star Wars The Last Jedi, but like many movies I absolutely love, such as Back to the Future, my favorite movie of all time, The Avengers, Spider-Man 2, Blade Runner, all of these movies I have issues with, but that doesn't stop me from enjoying the film as a whole. I wanted to get that out there before we talk about the perceived perception that Star Wars The Last Jedi is somehow a major box office flop and failure. So before we get into the video, let me just quickly remind you guys to subscribe. And if you haven't yet, hit the notification bell to be notified the moment a new video goes up. Okay, so let's get into this. So the biggest movie of 2017 is Star Wars The Last Jedi. That's indisputable. It is. Look at the official numbers, and the film, as of this recording, still has not stopped its box office run and has a few more weeks left on that. But quite clearly, everywhere you look, you're seeing articles that the film isn't living up to expectations. Now, I don't see how that's true considering Disney expected $1.4 billion from this film. And they are right on target to be able to hit that. So they're going to hit the exact projections that they told investors. Now, from what I can see, the perception of this film being a failure comes from a few things. Mainly, the whole aspect that people are focusing on is the fact that the film isn't keeping up with Star Wars The Force Awakens, which in my mind is the most unfair comparison you could ever make. Let's just be clear, Star Wars The Force Awakens was a film built up on the hype ever since The Last Jedi came out in the early 80s. It had decades to build up this anticipation, and generations of different fans went to see this movie, okay? Like, I took my daughter, and my dad came with us because my dad took me to see the prequels, and my dad saw the originals. So 3 generations right there. A lot of anticipation going into this movie. Now, I know what you're gonna say. Well, it's the second movie, it's the follow-up. It has to do better, or at least be on par. Which is 100% factually wrong, so let me bring up this chart and talk about Star Wars history at the box office. So look at this chart. Star Wars A New Hope. This is the original, of course, the original Star Wars, just so we're clear. In a worldwide box office, made $786 million. Followed up by the best Star Wars movie, most people will agree with this, The Empire Strikes Back, which made $534 million. Are you seeing something? It's the middle chapter, followed by Return of the Jedi, which made $572, which means it made more than the middle chapter. This is standard for middle chapters of a lot of franchises. Now let's go ahead and look at the prequels. Phantom Menace, $1 billion beat. Attack of the Clones, $656 million. Revenge of the Sith, $848. Once again, the middle chapter does the least amount. And now, let's look at Star Wars The Force Awakens, which of course did over $2 billion, and currently, as I'm recording this, The Last Jedi is at 1.2, meaning it's about 1.4 away from hitting the target goal that Disney projected. So being real, it's Star Wars. Of course it's going to make a lot of money. Is it a box office failure, as many are saying it is? Think about it. Look at the history of the franchise. Undoubtedly, the next movie, Episode 9, is going to do more than the second one. It's going to do somewhere between what the second one and the first one did, which makes a lot of sense. You know, just like the Avengers did 1.55 billion, Age of Ultron almost hit close to that, and Infinity War is going to beat that. Because that's the trend of a lot of these trilogies. People tend to skip a lot of middle chapters for some reason because they know it's a guaranteed trilogy.